The throne room was silent. Queen Vera sat on her crystal seat and looked at the faces of her council members. They were afraid to speak. They were always afraid to speak when this subject came up. 15 years, the queen said. Her voice was cold like winter ice. 15 years since they took her from me. The oldest council member stepped forward. His name was Elder Tom, and he had served 3 generations of rulers. His hand shook as he spoke. My queen, we must discuss the matter of succession. The empire needs an heir. Perhaps it is time to consider that Princess Lily is no longer. Do not finish that sentence. The queen's eyes burned with anger. My daughter is alive. I feel it in my heart. I will not replace her with another. The council members looked at each other but said nothing more. They had learned long ago that arguing with the queen about her lost daughter was pointless. She had sent thousands of ships across the galaxy searching for the child. She had spent fortunes on information and rewards. But the Shadow Syndicate had hidden the princess well. Queen Vera stood and walked to the large window. Outside, the purple sky of her homeworld stretched forever. Somewhere out there, her little girl was waiting. The queen touched the glass with her long, elegant fingers. Leave me, she commanded. All of you. The council members hurried out of the room. When the doors closed, Queen Vera finally allowed her face to show emotion. A single tear rolled down her cheek. She quickly wiped it away. Tears were weakness. A queen could not be weak, but late at night, when no one could see, she would hold the small blanket that once wrapped her baby daughter. And she would cry until the morning came. Far across the galaxy, in a part of space where laws did not exist, a small ship floated in the darkness. The ship was called the Last Hope, and it belonged to a human named Marcus Cole. Marcus sat in the pilot's seat and studied the holographic map in front of him. His friend Jake Torres worked on the computers behind him. The slave transport will pass through this area in 6 hours, Jake said. Are you sure about this, Marcus? The Shadow Syndicate does not play games. If they catch us, they will kill us slowly. Marcus turned to look at his friend. His face was serious and determined. A father hired us to save his son. The boy is 12 years old, Jake, 12. He was taken from his bed while his parents watched. I will not leave him in the hands of those monsters. Jake nodded. He had known Marcus for 10 years. They had fought together in the Earth Defense Force before leaving to become freelance guardians. Marcus had always been this way. He could not ignore suffering. He could not walk away from people who needed help. The transport has 40 guards, Jake said. We are 2 men with 1 ship. Marcus smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had faced death many times and no longer feared it. Then, we better be creative, he said. 6 hours later. The Last Hope hid behind a dead moon. The slave transport appeared exactly on schedule. It was a massive ship, ugly and black. Marcus knew that inside those metal walls, hundreds of stolen people lived in cages like animals. I am going in, Marcus said. He put on his armor and checked his weapons. 2 pistols, 1 rifle, and a knife. Simple tools for simple work. The guards change shifts in 15 minutes, Jake said, through the communication device. That is your window. Get in, find the boy, and get out. Do not try to be a hero. Marcus climbed into the small shuttle that would take him to the transport. When have I ever tried to be a hero? Jake laughed bitterly. Every single day since I met you. The shuttle crossed the empty space between the ships. Marcus landed on the transport and cut through the outer wall with a laser tool. The guards did not notice. They were lazy and bored. They had made this trip 100 times without trouble. Marcus moved through the dark hallways like a ghost. He had studied the ship plans for days. He knew every turn, every camera, every weak point. 2 guards walked past him without seeing him hiding in the shadows. He reached the holding area. The smell hit him first. It was the smell of fear and suffering. Hundreds of cells lined the walls, and inside each cell, creatures from different worlds sat in misery. Some cried quietly. Some had given up hope and simply stared at nothing. Marcus found the merchant's son quickly. The boy was human, small and scared. His eyes grew wide when he saw Marcus. "Are you here to save me?" The boy whispered. "Yes," Marcus said. "But I need you to stay quiet and follow me exactly." He opened the cell with his hacking device. The boy stepped out on shaky legs. Marcus was about to lead him away when he heard a voice from the cell across the hall. "Please." The voice was soft and broken. Marcus turned to look. Inside the cell sat a young woman. She was not human. Her skin was pale silver, and strange markings covered her arms and face. The markings seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. Marcus knew he should keep moving. The mission was clear: save the boy and leave. But something about this woman made him stop. Her eyes were filled with pain that went deeper than physical suffering. She looked like someone who had forgotten what hope felt like. "Please," she said again, "do not leave me here." The boy tugged at Marcus's sleeve. "We need to go." "You said we need to go." Marcus looked at the woman. Then he looked at the hundreds of other cells. His jaw tightened. "Change of plans," he said quietly. He moved to the control panel on the wall. Jake's voice came through the communication device, urgent and worried. "Marcus, what are you doing? Your heat signature is not moving toward the exit." "I am opening all the cells," Marcus replied. "What? Are you insane? That will trigger every alarm on the ship." "Then get ready to fly fast." Marcus pressed the button. Every cell door in the holding area slid open at the same time. Alarms began screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. Bug lights flashed everywhere. Chaos erupted as hundreds of prisoners realized they were free. Marcus grabbed the boy with one hand and the silver-skinned woman with the other. "Run!" he shouted. "Everyone run to the shuttle bay." The guards came fast. They had weapons and armor and numbers on their side. But they were not ready for Marcus Cole. The first guard raised his gun. Marcus shot him before he could fire. The second guard tried to grab the woman. Marcus broke his arm with a single strike. 3 more guards blocked the hallway. Marcus moved through them like a storm, his fists and weapons working together in deadly harmony. The silver woman watched with wide eyes. She had never seen anything like this. The human moved so fast, so perfectly. Every motion had purpose. Every strike was exact. He was protecting them with his own body, taking hits that would have hurt the others. They reached the shuttle bay. Jake had brought the last hope close to the transport, and its doors were open. Prisoners ran and jumped across the gap between ships. Some did not make it. Some fell into the empty space. But most reached safety. Marcus pushed the boy toward the ship. "Go, now!" He turned to help others. A guard shot at him and hit his shoulder. Marcus felt the pain but did not stop. He kept fighting, kept protecting, kept saving lives until the last prisoner was aboard. The silver woman reached out and grabbed his wounded arm. "Come," she cried. "You are hurt." Marcus finally jumped. Jake closed the doors and flew the last hope away as fast as the engines could go. The slave transport tried to follow, but Jake was the better pilot. Within minutes, they were gone. In the medical room, Marcus sat while Jake cleaned his wound. The rescued prisoners rested throughout the ship. The merchant's son was safe. The mission was complete. But Marcus kept thinking about the silver woman. There was something about her markings. Something familiar. Jake noticed his friend's distant expression. "What is it?" "The woman with the silver skin. Run her biosignature through the database." Jake did as he was asked. When the results appeared, he went completely still. "Marcus," he said slowly, "do you know who she is?" Marcus walked to the screen and looked at the information. His heart began to beat faster. "She is Princess Lily," Jake continued, "the lost heir of the Valari Empire. She has been missing for 15 years. The Queen has offered a fortune for her return." Marcus looked through the window at the tired, broken woman sitting alone in the corner of the ship. She did not know who she was. She did not know that her mother had been searching for her every day for 15 years. He walked to her and knelt down so their eyes were level. She looked at him with fear and confusion. "I am going to take you home," Marcus said softly. The woman did not understand. "Home? I do not have a home." "I have never had a home." Marcus took her hand gently. "Yes, you do. And I promise I will get you there." For the first time in many years, the faintest spark of hope appeared in the princess's eyes. The last hope flew through deep space toward the Valari Empire. The journey would take many days. The ship was not the fastest, but it was strong and reliable. Marcus had trusted his life to this ship many times, and it had never failed him. The rescued prisoners had been dropped at a safe station along the way. The merchant's son was returned to his crying father. Payment was offered, but Marcus refused it. The joy on the father's face was enough. Now only 3 people remained on the ship: Marcus, Jake, and the woman they now knew was Princess Lily. She sat in the common room, wrapped in a warm blanket. She still did not believe what they had told her. A princess? Her? She had spent her life being sold and traded like property. She had cleaned floors and served cruel masters. How could she be royalty? Marcus brought her a cup of hot soup. He sat across from her and waited patiently. "I do not remember being a princess," she said finally. "I do not remember a palace or a queen or any of it." "You were very young when they took you," Marcus explained. "Just a baby. You could not have remembered." Lily looked down at her hands. The markings on her skin glowed softly. She had always hated these markings. They made her different. They made her valuable to the wrong people. "What if she does not want me?" Lily asked quietly. "What if your queen mother looks at me and sees a stranger?" Marcus leaned forward. His eyes were kind but serious. "I have read about Queen Vara. She has spent 15 years searching for you. She has never stopped. She has never given up. A mother like that will want you no matter what." Lily felt something warm in her chest. It was a feeling she did not recognize. Later she would learn it was called hope. The days passed slowly. Lily began to explore the ship and learn about her rescuers. Jake was funny and smart. He told jokes and made her laugh for the first time in years. He taught her how the computers worked and let her help with simple tasks. But it was Marcus who fascinated her most. She watched him exercise each morning. His body moved with perfect control. Every punch, every kick, every movement was practiced and purposeful. He was not a large man by human standards, but there was power in him that she could not explain. One evening, she found him sitting alone in the observation room. He was looking at the stars with a sad expression on his face. She sat beside him without speaking. "Do you miss your home?" she asked after a long silence. Marcus was quiet for a moment. "I do not have a home anymore. Not really. What happened?" He continued to stare at the stars. "When I was young, humans were just beginning to explore the galaxy. We thought space was wonderful and full of possibilities. Then the raiders came to our colonies." Lily listened carefully. She could hear the pain in his voice. "They attacked at night," Marcus continued. "They came for resources and did not care about the people in their way. My colony was destroyed. My parents, my sister, everyone I knew. I was 16 years old, and I had nothing left." "I am sorry," Lily whispered. Marcus turned to look at her. "I joined the military, because I wanted to stop others from feeling what I felt. I wanted to protect people. I wanted to save lives. It became my purpose. The only thing that made sense in a universe that often seems cruel. Lily understood. She understood completely. They had both lost everything. They had both known suffering and loneliness. But Marcus had found meaning in helping others. She wondered if she could do the same. "Why do humans fight so hard?" she asked. "The galaxy thinks your species is young and weak, but you saved me. You saved all of us. You did not stop even when you were hurt." Marcus smiled slightly. "Humans are stubborn. We do not give up easily. When we care about something, we hold on with everything we have. Maybe it is because our lives are short. We do not have centuries like some species. So we make every moment count." Lily felt the warmth in her chest again. Stronger this time. Their peaceful journey was interrupted 3 days later. Jake burst into the common room where Marcus and Lily were eating breakfast. His face was pale with fear. "We have a problem," he said. "A big problem. The Shadow Syndicate knows she is alive. They know she is with us." Marcus stood immediately. "How?" "Someone on the station must have talked. There is a bounty on your head now, dead or alive. The number is very, very large." Lily felt ice in her stomach. "They want me back." "They will not get you," Marcus said firmly. "Jake, how many ships are tracking us?" Jake checked his computer. 3 bounty hunter ships. They will reach us in 2 hours. Marcus moved to the weapons locker. He pulled out guns and armor with calm efficiency. "Can we outrun them?" "No. Their ships are faster. We have to fight." Lily watched Marcus prepare for battle. He showed no fear. His hands were steady. His eyes were focused. He was going to fight 3 ships full of killers because of her. He might die because of her. "You could give me to them," she said. Her voice shook. "They would leave you alone. You would be safe." Marcus stopped what he was doing. He walked to her and put his hands on her shoulders. He looked directly into her eyes. "Listen to me," he said. "I made you a promise. I said I would take you home. I do not break my promises, not ever. Those men will have to kill me before they touch you." Tears filled Lily's eyes. No one had ever protected her before. No one had ever valued her life above their own. The battle came fast and violent. The bounty hunter ships surrounded the last hope. They fired warning shots and demanded surrender. Marcus responded by destroying the first ship's engine with a perfectly aimed missile. "That is your answer," Marcus said through the communication channel. "Come any closer, and I will send you all to your graves." The bounty hunters were not afraid. They had numbers and weapons. They were sure they would win. They attacked from 3 directions at once. Jake flew the ship with incredible skill. He dodged and spun and turned in ways that seemed impossible. But there were too many enemies. One blast hit the side of the ship. Another damaged the shields. They could not last much longer. "I am going out there," Marcus said. Jake's eyes went wide. "Out there? In a shuttle? Against 3 attack ships? That is suicide. Keep them busy. Give me 30 seconds. Marcus ran to the shuttle bay. He climbed into the small craft and launched into the battle. The shuttle was tiny compared to the bounty hunter ships. It should have been destroyed immediately, but Marcus flew like nothing Lily had ever seen. She watched through the window as his shuttle danced between the larger ships. He moved so fast they could not track him. He fired at their weak points with perfect accuracy. One ship lost its weapons. Another lost its navigation. The third tried to flee. Marcus did not let it escape. He landed on the enemy ship's hull and cut through with his laser tool. He climbed inside and fought through the crew with nothing but his pistol and knife. The bounty hunters were large and heavily armed. Marcus was just one human, but he moved through them like they were nothing. 15 minutes later, all 3 ships were disabled. Marcus returned to the last hope covered in blood that was mostly not his own. He collapsed in the medical room, and Jake rushed to treat his wounds. Lily sat beside him as he recovered. Her hands trembled as she held a cloth to his injured arm. "You could have died," she said. "You almost died. For me." Marcus looked at her with tired eyes. "I told you. I made a promise." Lily did not think. She simply acted. She leaned down and pressed her forehead to his, a sign of deep gratitude and affection among her people. Marcus did not pull away. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for believing I was worth saving." Marcus reached up and gently touched her face. "Everyone is worth saving, but you are worth fighting for." Lily's heart felt full. Something had changed between them. Something important. Jake cleared his throat from the doorway. "We are entering Valari space. We should arrive at the homeworld tomorrow. Tomorrow." Lily would meet her mother tomorrow. She would see her home for the first time. She was terrified and excited in equal measure. That night, she could not sleep. She found Marcus in the observation room again. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the unfamiliar stars of her home system grow closer. "Will you stay?" Lily asked suddenly. "After you deliver me, will you stay?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "I do not belong in palaces or royal courts. I am just a soldier." "You are more than that," Lily said firmly. "You are the man who brought me home. You are my champion." Marcus looked at her. Something passed between them. An understanding, a connection, a beginning. "We will see," he said finally. "First, let us get you to your mother." Lily nodded and leaned her head against his shoulder. For the first time in her life, she felt safe. For the first time, she felt like she might have a future. The Valari homeworld appeared on the horizon as the first light of morning filled the ship. It was beautiful. Purple clouds surrounded a world of crystal cities and ancient forests. Lily pressed her hands against the window and felt tears on her cheeks. Home. She was finally going home. And beside her stood the human who had made it possible. The man who fought against impossible odds. The man who kept his promises. Her champion. Queen Vera stood at the window of her private chamber. The sun was setting over her beautiful world, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. But she saw none of it. Her eyes looked outward, but her mind was lost in memories. She remembered the night her daughter was taken. The attack had come without warning. The Shadow Syndicate had broken through the palace defenses in minutes. Guards had fallen everywhere. And in the chaos, someone had stolen into the nursery and taken her baby. Queen Vera had searched every corner of the room 1,000 times afterward. She had found only an empty bed and a small blanket left behind. That blanket now sat folded in a box beside her bed. She touched it every night before she slept. A knock came at her door. She composed her face into the cold mask she always wore in public. "Enter." A palace servant bowed low. "My queen, there is a message. A human ship requests permission to land. They claim to have information about Princess Lily." The queen's heart tightened. She had heard these words before. So many times. Fortune seekers and liars had come to her with false claims. Each time, her hope had risen. Each time, it had been crushed. "What proof do they offer?" she asked. Her voice betrayed nothing. "The human says his name is Marcus Cole. He says he has genetic data and recovered memories. He says the princess is aboard his ship." Queen Vera turned away from the window. Her hands trembled slightly, but she controlled them. "Send for Emma Reed. I will meet this human in the throne room." The servant hurried away. Queen Vera walked to her mirror and looked at herself. Her face was older now. Lines of worry and grief marked her once smooth skin. Her eyes, which had once sparkled with warmth and life, were now flat and guarded. 15 years of pain had changed her. She put on her crown and walked to the throne room. The hall was filled with guards and council members. They watched their queen with careful eyes. Everyone knew this might be another false hope. Everyone was prepared for disappointment. Emerald arrived quickly. She was a human diplomat who had lived on the Valari homeworld for 5 years. She was smart and honest, and the queen trusted her more than most. "Your Majesty," Emma said with a bow, "I know of Marcus Cole. He is a good man, honorable. He would not make such a claim unless he believed it to be true." "Many have believed their lies before," the queen replied coldly. "Marcus is different. He was a captain in the Earth Defense Force. He has saved many lives across the galaxy. If he says he found your daughter, then he found her." The queen said nothing. She sat on her throne and waited till the doors opened. 2 palace guards entered first, followed by a human man and a Valari woman. Queen Vera's breath stopped in her chest, that the human was tall and strong. He walked with the confidence of a warrior, but the grace of someone at peace. His clothes were simple, and he bore wounds that had not fully healed. He looked like a man who had fought hard to reach this moment, but the queen barely noticed him. Her eyes were fixed on the woman beside him. She was thin and tired-looking. Her hair was cut short, and her clothes were plain. She stood with the posture of someone who expected to be hurt. Her eyes darted around the room with fear and uncertainty. But her markings... her markings. The queen knew those markings. She had traced them with her fingers when her daughter was a baby. She had memorized every line, every curve, every pattern. They were the royal marks of the ruling family. They were unique to her bloodline. This woman had those marks. Queen Vera gripped the arms of her throne. Her heart was pounding, but she did not allow herself to hope. Not yet. She could not survive another disappointment. "Speak," she commanded the human. "Tell me why you have come." Marcus stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, my name is Marcus Cole. 3 weeks ago, I raided a Shadow Syndicate slave transport. I found many prisoners there. One of them was this woman. Her genetic signature matches your daughter's DNA perfectly. She is Princess Lily." The queen studied the woman. The woman stared back with wide, frightened eyes. "Genetic data can be faked," the queen said. "What other proof do you offer?" Marcus pulled out a small device. A holographic recording appeared in the air. It showed the woman talking about fragments of memory. A warm voice singing to her. The feeling of being held. The smell of purple flowers. "These are memories she shared during our journey," Marcus explained. She did not know what they meant, but they are consistent with the princess's childhood. The queen listened. Her face remained stone. Inside, her heart was breaking and rebuilding at the same time. "The palace gardens have purple flowers," she said slowly. "I used to walk there with my daughter every morning." The council members looked at each other with growing excitement. Emerald had tears in her eyes, but the queen still did not move from her throne. She had been fooled before. She had believed before. And each time the truth had destroyed her. "These could be coincidences," she said. "Memories can be invented. I need more." Marcus nodded. He understood her caution. He respected it. Lily stepped forward. Her legs shook beneath her. She was terrified. This powerful queen was supposed to be her mother, but she felt like a stranger facing judgment. "I know you have no reason to believe me," Lily said softly. "I do not even believe it myself. I spent my whole life as property. I was bought and sold like an animal. I cleaned floors and served cruel masters. I am not a princess. I do not know how to be a princess." Queen Vera listened. Something in the woman's voice was touching her frozen heart. "But there is one thing I remember clearly," Lily continued. "When I was very small, someone sang to me. The same song every night. I do not know the words, but I remember the melody. It is the only beautiful thing I have ever kept." Lily closed her eyes, and she began to hum. The melody was soft and simple. It rose and fell like gentle waves. It was a song of love and protection. A song a mother sings to her child. Queen Vera's mask shattered. She knew that song. She had written it herself. She had sung it every night to her baby daughter. She had never sung it to anyone else. She had never shared it with anyone. It was her secret, her private moment with her child Dot, and this woman knew it. Tears filled the Queen's ancient eyes. For the first time in 15 years, she allowed herself to cry in front of her people. Her hands trembled. Her breath came in shakes. "Stop," she whispered. "Please stop." Lily opened her eyes, afraid she had done something wrong. "I am sorry. I did not mean to upset you." Queen Vera stood from her throne. Her legs felt weak. She walked down the steps slowly, her eyes never leaving the frightened woman before her. The council members watched in shock. Their queen never showed emotion. Their queen never left her throne during audiences. Their queen never walked toward anyone, but she was walking now. Tears streamed down her face. Her crown sat forgotten on her silver hair. She stopped in front of Lily. They were the same height. They had the same eyes, the same shape of face, the same elegant hands. "That song," Queen Vera said, her voice breaking. "Where did you learn that song?" Lily shook her head. "I do not know. I just remember it. A voice in the darkness. Warm arms holding me. The feeling of being safe." Queen Vera reached out and touched Lily's face. The touch was gentle, reverent, like someone touching something precious and fragile. "I sang that song to you," the Queen whispered. "Every night. Every single night until they took you from me." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Then you are my daughter." Queen Vera pulled Lily into her arms. "My baby, my Lily, you came home." The throne room erupted in emotion. Council members wiped their eyes. Guards who had served the Queen for decades smiled with joy. Emma Reed sobbed openly, making no effort to hide her tears. Marcus stood apart, watching the reunion. He felt a warmth in his chest that he had not experienced in years. This was why he fought. This was why he risked everything. Moments like this made the pain and sacrifice worth it. Queen Vera held her daughter and would not let go. 15 years of grief poured out of her in an endless wave. 15 years of loneliness and despair were washed away by the simple reality of her child in her arms. "I searched for you," the Queen said between sobs. "Every day, every night. I never stopped. I never gave up. I knew you were alive. I knew it in my heart." Lily clung to her mother. She was crying too. She was crying for all the years she had lost, for all the pain she had suffered, for the mother she never knew she had. "I'm sorry," Lily whispered. "I'm sorry I could not find my way back to you." Queen Vera pulled back and looked at her daughter's face. "You have nothing to be sorry for. You are here now. That is all that matters." She turned to Marcus. Her eyes were still wet with tears, but there was gratitude in them. Deep, profound gratitude. "Human," she said. "You brought my daughter home. You gave me back my reason for living. How can I ever repay such a gift?" Marcus bowed his head. "No payment is necessary, Your Majesty. Seeing your family reunited is reward enough." Queen Vera studied him for a long moment. She saw the wounds he carried. She saw the exhaustion in his eyes. She saw the quiet strength of a man who had given everything for a stranger. "You are remarkable," she said. "Your species is remarkable. I have underestimated humans for too long." She took her daughter's hand and held it tight. For the first time in 15 years, Queen Vera smiled. It was a real smile, a warm smile, the smile of a mother holding her child. The impossible had happened. The lost princess had returned. The palace had not seen such joy in 15 years. Servants rushed through the halls with flowers and decorations. Musicians played happy songs in the gardens. The news of Princess Lily's return spread across the entire planet within hours. Queen Vera refused to leave her daughter's side. She held Lily's hand as they walked through the crystal corridors. She showed her the room where she had slept as a baby. She showed her the gardens where they had walked together before the kidnapping. "I kept everything," the queen said. "Your toys, your clothes, your blanket. I could not bring myself to remove them. It would have felt like giving up." Lily touched the small bed that had once been hers. It was decorated with stars and moons. A mobile of tiny crystal birds hung above it. These objects meant nothing to her memory, but they meant everything to her heart. "You really never stop believing," Lily whispered. Queen Vera took her daughter's face in her hands. A mother knows her child. "In here," she touched her chest. "I felt you in my heart every single day." The connection between us was never broken. Lily leaned into her mother's touch. She was still learning how to receive love. After so many years of cruelty, kindness felt strange and wonderful. Meanwhile, Marcus and Jake were given guest rooms in the palace. The rooms were beautiful, filled with soft beds and elegant furniture. But Marcus felt uncomfortable. He was a soldier, not a nobleman. He did not belong in places like this. Jake seemed to feel differently. He lay on his bed and laughed with happiness. "This is the life," Jake said. "Clean sheets, good food, no one shooting at us. I could get used to this." Marcus smiled but said nothing. He stood at the window and looked out at the alien city below. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Everything here was beautiful. But it was not his world. A knock came at the door. Emma Reed entered with a warm smile. "The Queen has requested your presence at dinner," she said. "Both of you. She wants to honor you properly for what you have done." Marcus nodded. "We will be there." Emma paused at the door. "You know, Marcus, you have changed things." The Queen was cold and distant for years. She had forgotten how to feel. But I saw her today, laughing with her daughter. You gave her that. You gave her back her humanity. Marcus did not know how to respond. He just nodded again. The dinner was held in the grand hall. The table stretched the length of the room, covered with food from every corner of the Valari Empire. Nobles and council members filled the seats, all dressed in their finest clothes. Queen Vera sat at the head of the table. Princess Lily sat beside her. They both wore flowing gowns of silver and purple. Lily looked uncomfortable, but beautiful. She kept glancing at her mother, as if making sure she was still real. Marcus and Jake were given seats of honor near the Queen. Other guests whispered with curiosity. Humans at the royal table? This was unprecedented. The Queen stood to address her guests. The room fell silent. 15 years ago, the darkest night of my life took my daughter from me. I thought I would never recover. I thought my heart would remain frozen forever. She looked at Lily with overwhelming love. But hope never truly dies. And sometimes, miracles do happen. She turned to Marcus. This man crossed the galaxy to bring my daughter home. He fought against impossible odds. He risked his life for someone he did not know. He's everything that is good about the human race. Marcus felt his face grow warm. He was not used to such attention. To Marcus Cole, the Queen announced, raising her glass. A true hero. Every person in the hall raised their glass. To Marcus Cole. Lily caught Marcus's eye from across the table. She smiled at him. It was a smile full of warmth and something else. Something deeper. The dinner continued with food and laughter. For a few beautiful hours, everything was perfect. The queen laughed at jokes. Lily learned the names of her relatives. Jake flirted harmlessly with a Valari noblewoman. Marcus sat quietly and enjoyed the peace. But peace never lasts forever. A soldier burst into the hall with panic on his face. The laughter stopped immediately. "Your Majesty," the soldier shouted, "we have received a transmission. It is from the Shadow Syndicate." Queen Vera's expression hardened. "Play it." A hologram appeared in the center of the room. A figure stood in the image. He was tall and thin, wrapped in black robes. His face was hidden by a metal mask. His voice was cold and mechanical. "Queen Vera," the figure said, "I am known as the broker. I believe you have something that belongs to me." "My daughter belongs to no one but herself," the queen replied with ice in her voice. The broker laughed. It was an ugly sound. "She was my property for 15 years. I invested considerable resources in her, and now a human has stolen her from me. This cannot stand. I will destroy you for what you did to my child." "I think not." The broker gestured, and the hologram expanded. Behind him appeared hundreds of ships. A massive fleet, armed and ready for war. "I have assembled this armada at the edge of your system. Return my property, or I will reduce your precious world to ashes." Gasps filled the hall. The Valari had a strong military, but this fleet was enormous. A battle would cost thousands of lives. "You would start a war over one girl?" the queen demanded. "I would burn the galaxy for the principle of the matter. No one steals from me. No one." The broker leaned toward the camera. "You have 12 hours to deliver the princess. After that, the killing begins." The transmission ended. Chaos erupted in the hall. Council members shouted over each other. Military commanders demanded immediate action. Nobles panicked about their estates and families. Queen Vera remained calm. Her eyes were hard and focused. The warm mother had disappeared. The warrior queen had returned. Silence. She commanded. The room fell still. "We will not surrender my daughter. We will not bow to criminals. Prepare our fleet for battle." Lily grabbed her mother's arm. "Mother, no, no. People will die because of me. I cannot allow that." Queen Vera looked at her daughter with fierce determination. "I spent 15 years without you. I will not spend another day. If the Syndicate wants war, they will have war." Marcus stood from his seat. Everyone turned to look at him. "Your Majesty," he said, "let me lead the defense." The council members murmured with surprise. "A human? Leading the Valari fleet?" "Your daughter is alive because I swore to protect her," Marcus continued. "That oath does not end here. I have fought the Syndicate before. I know their tactics. I know their weaknesses. Let me help you destroy them." Queen Vera studied the human carefully. She saw the determination in his eyes. The same determination that had carried him across the galaxy. The same fire that had driven him to save her daughter. "You would risk your life again," she said. "For us." "I would risk my life for her," Marcus replied. He looked at Lily, and for the chance to end the people who hurt her. Something passed between the queen and the human. Understanding. A recognition of shared purpose. "Very well," she said. "You will command our fleet. You have the heart of a Valari warrior, Marcus Cole. Prove that heart in battle." The council members exploded with protest. Aliens leading their ships? Unprecedented. Dangerous. Foolish. Queen Vera silenced them with a look. "My word is final. Prepare for battle." The hall emptied quickly. Commanders rushed to their posts. Soldiers gathered their weapons. The peaceful celebration had transformed into preparation for war. Lily found Marcus in the corridor. She grabbed his arm and turned him to face her. "You do not have to do this," she said. Her eyes were wet with tears. "You have done enough. More than enough. You can leave now. You can be safe." Marcus took her hands in his. "I made you a promise to take you home. But home means nothing if it is not safe. I will not leave until the threat is gone. You could die. I could have died 100 times already. But I'm still here." He squeezed her hands gently. "Some things are worth dying for, Lily. Protecting you is one of them." Lily threw her arms around him. She held him tight, pressing her face against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat. Steady and strong. "Come back to me," she whispered. "Promise me you will come back." Marcus wrapped his arms around her. He closed his eyes and breathed in the scent of her hair. "I promise," he said. "I always keep my promises." Queen Vera watched from the shadows. She saw her daughter clinging to the human warrior. She saw the love growing between them. Part of her heart ached. Her little girl was no longer a child. She had grown into a woman with feelings of her own, but another part of her heart felt peace. If her daughter had to love someone, she could not imagine a better choice than this brave, selfless man. The queen stepped forward. Both Marcus and Lily turned to face her. "It seems my daughter has given you her heart," Queen Vera said. "Do not break it." Marcus bowed his head. "I would sooner die, Your Majesty." The queen nodded slowly. "Then go. Lead our ships to victory. Protect our world. And come back alive." "That is not a request. It is a command from your queen." Marcus smiled slightly. "Yes, Your Majesty." He kissed Lily's forehead gently, then walked away toward the hangars. Jake fell into step beside him. "So," Jake said, "we are fighting an entire fleet now. Fun times." Marcus looked at his friend. "Scared? Terrified? You?" "Same." They walked in silence for a moment. "But we are going to do it anyway, right?" Jake asked. Marcus nodded. "We are going to do it anyway." Behind them, Lily watched until Marcus disappeared around a corner. Then she turned to her mother and took her hand. "He will win," Lily said. "I know he will." Mother and daughter walked together to the command center. The battle was about to begin. And everything depended on a single human warrior. The Valari fleet assembled in the darkness of space. 300 ships of various sizes formed a defensive line around the homeworld. Their weapons were charged. Their crews were ready. But fear hung heavy in the air. The Shadow Syndicate fleet was larger. Nearly 500 ships, all armed with deadly weapons, all crewed by criminals and mercenaries who cared nothing for life. At their center sat the Broker's flagship, a massive vessel bristling with guns. Marcus stood on the bridge of the Valari command ship. Around him, alien officers waited for his orders. They were nervous. A human commanding their fleet was strange and uncomfortable. But the Queen had spoken, and her word was law. Jake sat at a computer station nearby. He had linked the Last Hope systems to the command ship, allowing him to coordinate the defense grid from here. "Their formation is aggressive," Jake said. "They plan to overwhelm us with numbers. Classic Syndicate tactics." Marcus studied the enemy fleet on the holographic display. His mind worked through possibilities and strategies. Humans had learned to fight in space the hard way. They had lost many battles before learning how to win. Those lessons now lived in Marcus's memory. "They expect us to hold position and defend," Marcus said. "They expect a slow, grinding battle. We will not give them that." The Valari officers looked at each other with confusion. Marcus pointed at the display. "Their ships are arranged for a frontal assault. Their flanks are weak. We will split our fleet into 3 groups. The first will engage their center and draw attention. The second and third will sweep around and attack from the sides. That is a very aggressive plan, an officer said nervously. If we fail, the homeworld will be unprotected. If we sit and wait, we will be destroyed, Marcus replied. The best defense is attack. Trust me. He looked around at the alien faces. They were afraid. They were uncertain, but they saw something in his eyes that made them believe. Today we fight for your homes, Marcus said. For your families. For your princess. I know I am not one of you. I know I am just a human from a distant world. But I promise you this, I will fight beside you. I will bleed with you. And I will not stop until every enemy is destroyed or I am dead. The officers straightened. Something changed in their expressions. Pride replaced fear. Determination replaced doubt. For the Queen, one officer shouted. For the Queen. The others echoed. The battle began. The Valari fleet surged forward in 3 formations. The Syndicate forces were surprised by the aggressive move. They had expected their victims to cower and defend. Instead, the aliens came at them like warriors. Marcus commanded from the center group. He directed ships with quick, precise orders. His voice was calm, even as explosions rocked the area around them. Group 2, engage their left flank. Group 3, target their weapon platforms. Center group, hold their attention. The space between the fleets erupted in fire and light. Ships destroyed each other in brilliant explosions. Crews screamed and fought and died in the cold vacuum. But Marcus's tactics were working. The Syndicate forces were confused by the multi-directional assault. Their formation broke apart. Their advantages disappeared. The broker watched from his flagship with growing anger. He had expected an easy victory. He had expected frightened defenders who would crumble under pressure. Instead, he faced a commander who fought with skill and fury. Who leads their fleet? The broker demanded. A human, his officer replied. The same one who stole the princess. The broker's hands clenched into fists. I want him dead. Focus all fire on his position. 30 Syndicate ships turned toward Marcus's command vessel. They unleashed a wall of weapons fire that would destroy anything in its path. Incoming, Jake shouted. Too many missiles. Shields cannot hold. Marcus made a decision in a fraction of a second. All ships near me, break formation. I will draw them away. Marcus, that is insane. Jake protested, but Marcus was already moving. He grabbed a shuttle and launched into space. His small craft raced away from the command ship, deliberately drawing enemy fire. The Syndicate ships followed. Their missiles chased the tiny shuttle through the chaos of battle. Marcus flew with impossible skill, dodging between explosions and debris. He was buying time for the Valari fleet to regroup. On the command bridge of the homeworld, Queen Vera watched the battle with Lily beside her. They saw the small human shuttle dancing through the enemy fleet. They saw the danger Marcus was in. He will be killed, Lily whispered. Her hand gripped her mother's arm so tight it was painful. Queen Vera watched the battle with hard eyes. That man fights like he has nothing to lose. He fights like he has everything to win, Lily corrected. He fights for us. The shuttle dodged another missile. Then another. But there were too many. A blast caught the shuttle's wing and sent it spinning toward the broker's flagship. Marcus did not try to escape. He saw his opportunity. He aimed his damaged shuttle directly at the flagship's landing bay. The craft crashed through the outer doors and skidded across the metal floor in a shower of sparks. Guards ran toward the wreckage with weapons raised. Marcus emerged from the twisted metal before they could react. He moved through them like death itself. His pistol cracked. His knife flashed. Bodies fell around him. He had one goal. The broker. Marcus fought through the corridors of the flagship. Enemies came at him in waves. He was wounded again and again. Blood ran down his face and arms. But he did not stop. He could not stop. He found the broker on the command deck. The masked figure stood with 20 guards around him. They aimed their weapons at the bloody, exhausted human. "Impressive," the broker said. "I have never seen a human fight like you. What drives such fury?" Marcus raised his pistol. "You hurt her. You took her from her family. You made her suffer for 15 years. I am going to make you pay for every single day." The broker laughed. "You are one man against 20. You cannot win. Watch me." Marcus attacked. The fight was brutal and savage. Guards fell one after another. Marcus took wounds that would have killed most beings. A blade in his side. A bullet in his leg. Burns across his shoulder. But he kept fighting. Finally, only the broker remained. The criminal lord drew his own weapon, a glowing blade of energy. "You should have stayed on your backwater planet," the broker hissed. "Humans do not belong in the stars." Marcus raised his knife. "We belong wherever we choose to be." They clashed in a storm of steel and light. The broker was skilled and fast. Marcus was wounded and tired. But the human had something the criminal did not understand: absolute determination. Marcus took a cut across his chest. He did not care. He pushed forward. He grabbed the broker's arm and twisted. The energy blade fell from the criminal's grip. "This is for Lily," Marcus said. His knife found its mark. The broker collapsed. Outside, the Syndicate fleet fell into chaos. With their leader dead, the ships lost coordination. The Volari forces pressed their advantage and destroyed or scattered the remaining enemies. Victory. Marcus stumbled to the flagship's communication system. He broadcast a message to both fleets. "The broker is dead. The Shadow Syndicate is finished. Any ship that does not surrender will be destroyed." One by one, the remaining Syndicate vessels powered down their weapons. The battle was over. Jake's voice came through Marcus's communication device. Tears of relief filled his words. "You crazy, beautiful fool. You actually did it." Marcus collapsed against the wall. His vision was fading. He had lost too much blood. "Jake, I need a ride." Rescue ships reached him in time. Volari medics worked frantically to save his life. He was unconscious when they carried him from the flagship, but he was alive. The homeworld celebrated for days. The threat was eliminated. The princess was safe. The human hero had won. When Marcus finally woke, he found himself in a beautiful room filled with flowers. Lily sat beside his bed, holding his hand. Her eyes were red from crying. "You almost died," she said. Her voice was thick with emotion. "You promised you would come back." Marcus smiled weakly. "I came back. Barely." She leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his. "Never scare me like that again." "I cannot promise that. Trouble seems to follow me." Lily laughed despite her tears. "Then I will follow trouble too." She kissed him softly. He kissed her back. Queen Vera entered the room. She saw her daughter kissing the human warrior and smiled. "I am interrupting," she said. Lily pulled back with embarrassment. Marcus tried to sit up but groaned in pain. "Stay still," the queen commanded. She walked to his bedside and looked down at him with warmth in her ancient eyes. "You have done the impossible. You saved my daughter. You saved my world. You killed the monster who haunted us for 15 years. How can I repay such a debt?" Marcus shook his head. "I told you before. No payment is necessary, and I refused that answer before." The queen straightened with royal dignity. "In 3 days, there will be a ceremony. You will be named Royal Champion of the Volari Empire. You will be given a place in the palace, not as a servant, but as family. This is my command." Marcus looked at Lily. She nodded, her eyes bright with hope. "I accept," he said. The ceremony was grand and beautiful. The entire planet watched as Marcus knelt before the queen. She touched his shoulders with a crystal blade and spoke the ancient words of honor. Rise, Marcus Cole, champion of the Valari Empire.